with the energy in the room, I thought it would be a great thing to just start with a giveaway, a good old-fashioned giveaway. Anybody like giveaways? Okay, so I have a one-of-a-kind penna snapback hat that I designed, one in a kind, one in the whole planet. I'm giving this away right now, okay? And then I also have a $20 Starbucks gift card, which gets you like a cake pop with how expensive Starbucks is. So does anybody want this in the room? Does anybody want this hat and this Starbucks gift card? Okay, does anybody want it? Yes. So there is no parameters. Does anybody want this? Does anybody want this? Okay. So it's here. Does anybody want it though? Does anybody want this? Okay. Yes, it's yours. Congratulations. She can give it up for her. What? Give it up for her. Give it up for her. Okay, so what you guys just witnessed was actually the first lesson of tonight. And it was that the person who gets the opportunity is the one who gets up out of their seats and takes initiative and goes and gets it. You understand? Right? Because all of you sat there and some of you guys, I could use $20 at Starbucks, but she wasn't concerned with who was watching her. She wasn't concerned with what y'all thought. She thought there's an opportunity and I'm gonna go get it, regardless of what you guys thought. What a beautiful thing, right? So congratulations, enjoy your cake pop. That's all it's gonna get you. Inflation is crazy. A little bit about me. My name is Pete Rodriguez. I live in Lancaster. I have a beautiful wife named Emily. I have 2 sons, Theo and Ellis, 4 years old and almost 2 years old, who gave me a little bit of a throat tickle. So forgive me if I need to sip water throughout this. But and we have our baby girl on the way. We're expecting our 3rd, which is very exciting. So I run, and I'm Puerto Rican. I talk with my hands a lot, so forgive me. And I'm gonna speak fast because I have 15 minutes and I was told that I need to be strict to 15 minutes. So I'm gonna speak really fast. So take notes because I have a lot of value-packed stuff. I run essentially a solopreneur-run design agency. And we're the top 5% of solopreneurs, meaning that we make multiple 6 figures every year doing branding and design work, right? So that's all that means. I would say about 60% of my work is retainers, and then the other 40% is project-based work. So that's how I break that down. So just to graduate your minds and thinking like, how do I actually earn income? Well, there's a lot of ways. There's retainer options, there's project-based work, you can slice that a million different ways. And so why do I share that with you? I share that with you not necessarily to boast, not necessarily to say, hey, look at me. I share that with you to give you a target to show you what's possible. There's this phenomenon that we see happen in the Olympics. We see it happen in the NFL combine where someone will break a world record. And then the next year, someone comes along and breaks that record that's never been done before. Why is that? It's because humans have this instinctive thing that when we see what's possible, we're able to then beat it, right? So you can never hit a target that you don't know exists. So if you didn't know that making 6 figures as a creative was possible, if you didn't know making multiple 6 figures as a creative was possible, it is possible. And so I hope that you leave here today feeling like, man, I can do something more than what I'm doing now. And that feels like a really real, tangible thing. And I'm gonna lay out the framework of how I do that, okay? The other piece of what I do is I'm a creative business coach. You wearing the hat already? Yeah, nice. He's already wearing the hat. That's awesome. I was like, wait, I recognize that hat. And so I essentially help creatives, much like many of you guys in this room, and help them dial in their offer, right? So we're gonna talk about having a great offer, an irresistible offer. And then we also work on your positioning of that offer. So how do you take your irresistible offer and actually put it in front of the right people so they spend money with you and you can earn income doing what you do? And then the other piece of it is creating a simple but effective system to fulfill that, right? So we talk about, if we go to the next slide, or offer, marketing, sales, fulfillment, and retention, all very boring words until they're not, and then they're a lot of fun. So what is an offer, right? What is an offer? When developing a no-brainer offer, you need to balance your services at a price point that feels irresistible. So the right amount of effort for a specific amount of investment that your client sees massive value in. So to be clear, for anyone who's just starting in the room too, you don't have to have a premium service. Everyone wants to have the premium thing, but I've seen people make hundreds of thousands of dollars on a $500 product or a $300 product. So what does that look like? What if you can offer for $500 a month, you go into a business and you shoot a 25 image gallery and you show, like, you split your days up. Half of the day you're with one business, the other half you're with another business. Now all of a sudden you're making $1,000 a day. Like, what does it look like to think low ticket and still make a really good living? Like, if you're making $5K a week, that's good money, right? So don't be discouraged if you're just starting out. There are ways to sell something on a low ticket versus a high ticket and still make a lot of money regardless of what you're doing. And I'm all for high ticket offers, right? My product is a high ticket offer. My branding and design are high ticket items. But I wanted to shout out, like, everybody who's kind of potentially new in the room and just getting started. So the other piece of it then is to allow your demand to drive your pricing. So if you start with that low ticket thing, build your demand up and then allow that pricing to increase as your demand increases, right? This is simple business strategies. So how many of us have heard of the old saying, if you build it, they will come? If you build it, they will come, right? This is a lie from the pit of hell. It is. If you build it, they will not come. In fact, if you build it, you have to, like, take that offer, if you create the thing, and you have to put it in front of the people that are willing to spend money with you. A billboard that gets put up in the forest sells zero, because there's no people around. So a lot of us have this tendency to, like, be entitled that people should spend money with us, right? If I just make this thing, this really cool photo, it's gonna be enticing to people. That's the furthest thing from the truth. Like, you actually have to take your product and your offer, make it irresistible, and then put it in front of people that are already wanting to spend money with you. I believe that every single one of you has an audience that already is wanting what you have to offer, but you just haven't found that audience yet, right? So bringing alignment there and allowing you to actually create an offer that is irresistible. So marketing, I'm gonna burn through these because I already know Austin's checking his clock. We work hard and put in the hours, right? The time into our craft and expect people to come just because we put in the work and had good intentions. But good intentions do not pay the bills, right? You can't pay a bill. Last time I checked PPL or UGI or any of these places, and you guys have a place, you guys know what PPL and UGI are, but they don't accept good intentions as payment. So being the best at your craft doesn't matter if no one knows who you are. So we're living in a time where actually it's better to be known than it is to be the best. And I can tell you right now, I'm not the best brand designer out there. But what am I doing? I'm not the best, but I post consistent content around the same 3 topics all the time. It's my content pillars. It's faith, business, and creativity. And therefore, I position myself as an expert. I build my personal brand, and I become a thought leader in the space rather than just a consumer in the space. Study content. Don't just consume content, study it. What are they saying? What are they doing? There's 2 ways to learn from someone. What is someone saying and what are they doing? How do they walk? How do they talk? You need to be exposed to these kind of things. Okay? Sound good? Boom. So, I just think the temptation for all of us is to put our hypothetical billboard in the forest, and then we just wait for someone to travel through the forest someday and see it. And I don't want that for any of you guys. You guys actually put a ton of hard work into your craft, whatever you do, whether it's real estate, whether it's photography, videography, project management, whatever you find yourself doing, you put a lot of time and energy into it. To put it into a forest and say, here's what I do, and wait for someone to come, it's like, that's not an effective business strategy. So sales, that leads me perfectly into sales. Boom. So we got somebody, they're through the door, they're interested in working with you. Woo! That's exciting, right? Yeah, okay. You guys don't like making money. Got it. Cool. Leave it for me, I'll take it. So now we actually need to sell them on an offer. So I want to reframe sales for you because sales tends to get a bad rap. Sales is just service. All it is serving, right? So you think you don't want to post content about your personal brand because you're like, oh, that feels icky. That's gross. I'm telling everybody, look at me, look at me. But in all actuality, you're robbing people of the opportunity to learn from you. What you're saying is, I'm going to hoard all of my knowledge and I don't want to share it with anyone. And so therefore, you just become a pond with green stuff floating on top rather than a river of fresh water that receives from one end and releases on the other. Does that make sense? We don't want to be a pond. We want to be a river. And so I think a lot of us, if we're being honest at least, we struggle to sell our skills because we haven't postured our business from a place of serving people. That's all business is. It's an exchange of enthusiasm. You get on a call with a client, or you're like trying to sell someone something, and you're like not even excited about it. And so how do you expect me to be excited about what you're telling me when you're not even excited about it? It's an exchange of enthusiasm. That's what sales is. I'm helping you to become excited about a solution. And a lot of us struggle with imposter syndrome because we don't believe in our heart of hearts that what we have to offer is actually a real solution to the client. Do you believe that what you offer is actually a solution? You've been running your business like an optional vitamin to be taken instead of a prescriptive painkiller. You are to help your client reduce the amount of pain that they're experiencing. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're just shooting family photos, it's like people have a pain of, I should have shot, I want to get family photos done. And then the girl's like maybe nagging the guy, and he's like, can we get family photos done? We want photos. And that's a pain point. And so you come in with your offer, hey, did you know I relieve that pain from people? And so therefore you operate as a painkiller and not just a supplemental vitamin that people can have, whenever they want. And so if you want to start earning, a serious income, you have to start to speak this way. Think about your language. What words are you using to articulate your services and offerings? Because words matter. They have power. And so, please realize this, that people, when it comes to sales, people buy with their own selfish motivations, right? They don't buy what you do. They buy what you do for them, okay? So fulfillment, I'm going to burn through them. We want to create a clear workflow so that we can consistently relieve our clients' pain and deliver consistent results. When you go to Chick-fil-A and you get that spicy chicken deluxe, and then you get the fries, and then you upgrade it to the cookies and cream milkshake, you know what you're getting. Why? Because Chick-fil-A has a process. You guys are doing the same creative work all the time and never putting an SOP in place, which is a standard operating procedure, right? And therefore, it's an inconsistent product. But if we slow down, we can actually begin to track what we're doing every day. What are you doing every day? Take note of that. Write down literally what you're doing, because everybody wants to go fast. But if you want fast, you have to go slow, because slow is smooth and smooth is fast. It's counterintuitive. In order to go fast, you need to go slow, because slow is smooth, less friction, and smooth is fast, right? Retention. I'll keep this one really short, but we want to make sure that we have a way for people to continue to work with us outside of our main offer. This is what I would call a downsell. So if the main offer is getting them through the door, right, that's your product, then the downsell would be something like, hey, did you know that we also offer this $5,000 or $2,000 a month service that you can essentially subscribe to? So this looks like a subscription, a photography subscription, a photography membership, a community. All of those types of things can sort of operate as a downsell. And then closing. So I guess the hope in this is just as we work through sort of all of these different pieces, is that you guys can do this. This is not like unachievable. It's not astronomical. Once you start to like realize the formula, it just starts to click and you start implementing. But the person who takes radical action is the one who's gonna win, not the one who's waiting for something to happen. I used to wait for people to like come to me and say, hey, I have this amazing business opportunity for you, and it's gonna change your life. Like I used to think subconsciously about that. And then I realized that nobody was coming to save me. No one's coming to provide for my family. You guys, no one's coming to save you, and that's a harsh reality, but the faster you can understand that and digest that, the more you're like, okay, now I need to go make the thing. And I just believe so hard, like wholeheartedly, like that perfectionism is the thing that like often stops us, right? So I have my mic. Most of us have iPhones. There's some weird Android people out there. But every single year, Apple iterates on this iPhone, no? Every single year, they put out a new iPhone. And Apple, a $1 trillion company, is allowed to iterate on their product and change things each and every year to make it a little bit better and a little bit better, but you feel the need to make something perfect. Do you understand how like that doesn't math, right? Literally, they have the freedom. We've given them that freedom to say, oh, you can make changes. Oh, cool, I'll still spend my money with you. But we think we need to like have everything perfect before launching a product. So here's my last thing. I already got my time count thing from my signal from people in the back. I'm gonna end with a story, okay? I'm a pastor's son. Sam, thank you for being vulnerable. My father too passed away, and I don't share much. And honestly, hearing you share it challenges me to share more. So that's how that works. Amazing. When someone's vulnerable, you can actually like become vulnerable yourself. I've always heard that, but I guess now I'm experiencing it. Here's my challenge, or here's the story I'm gonna end with. In the Bible, whether you believe the Bible or not, that's okay. In the Bible, there's a story of Adam and Eve, okay? Adam and Eve, what happens to Adam and Eve? Adam and Eve eat of a fruit that God told them not to eat about, or not eat, right? So sin enters into the world. It's the first time. And what happens? Adam and Eve are actually naked. They didn't know they were not wearing clothes because theoretically there was no sin, so they had no consciousness of like anything wrong. So they eat of the fruit. You guys may be familiar with this story, and then they hide behind a bush, right? Why do they hide behind the bush? Because they're ashamed, they're embarrassed, they are naked. And so God comes back into the Garden of Eden and he says, Adam and Eve, where are you? Right? Where are you? And Adam says, well, we're naked, we're embarrassed, we don't want to show you ourselves, right? We're ashamed. And he says, who told you were naked? Who told you? And I think that's such a powerful, timeless question that we get to ask today and that I get to ask of you, is that at some point in your life, someone told you that you could not be the catalyst for change in your family generation. Who told you that you were not good enough? Who told you that you couldn't build the dream business? Who told you that you couldn't face the mountain that is in front of you? Because at the end of the day, that person was wrong. And I believe that if you guys like really give your effort, put your best foot forward, and do your best to implement things strategically, that you can be the one thing in your family that changes everything, the one person that changes everything. And it could start with you. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.